All right, and we're back with another episode of the Slack Doctors. But I am Dr. Chip.
I am still Dr. Bob.
I got a bunch of things to talk about today, which I was going to start off with some F.D.O.T. stuff, but you said you had something you wanted to talk about first, so I'll let you kick it off.
Just brief doctor inept shenanigans again. I had to got a procedure coming up next week. I talked to you about. I think we're going to tape Monday and Wednesday just in case things go awry. But today was they call it pre-op. It's not really for an operation though, but whatever, the pre-procedural. And I assume there would be like chest x-rays or anything. Literally the only thing they did, aside to talk about my medication list, which is information that the guy doing the procedure already has and could have easily done. No x-rays, no blood work, just blood pressure, vitals. And then they literally made me open my mouth and say, ah, and took a picture of my mouth. Now, the guy who I saw to arrange for this is the guy who's going to be doing the procedure. Why wouldn't he just ask me to open my mouth and go, he could literally have looked right then and there instead of scheduling all of this complete nonsense. And also it's at a hospital that I hate where it's like going to an airport. There's no parking. You got to park, a couple of blocks away. And then everything is a maze and all the offices are inside the hospital. Whole thing is a disaster. Not looking forward to it in any way, shape or form.
Well, I can tell you why you have the unnecessary visit, but you know why. They want to get,
yeah.
You know why.
Obviously, but I mean, yeah, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, it is. And speaking of wasteful fraud.
Oh, wait, I wanted to add one other thing too, as far as funny doctor stuff, right? So I get a call a couple of days ago from my marijuana card doctor. I don't know what the proper terminology is or whatever.
Your weed doctor.
And I think the state of Florida, the weed doctor. State of Florida requires you to see him every 7 months or 6 months, something like that.
Really?
And once a year, you've got to, to get keep your recommendation going or whatever.
Right. Make sure you still have anxiety.
Yeah, or whatever, glaucoma, chronic pain, whatever it is you got. So she left me a message, the secretary, whatever, saying, call us back at this number. So I call her back yesterday at the number, and she says, I tell her who I am, and then she says, would you like to make an appointment for a telehealth conference, or would you like to just handle it right now? And I think, okay, well, let's go ahead. And she goes, okay. She goes, do you need any changes made to your allotment or anything? And I'm like, no, everything's fine. She goes, any changes in your address or any of that? I'm like, nope. She goes, okay, let me put you on hold for just a second. She puts me on hold for about 30, 45 seconds. She comes back after 45 seconds and says, okay, you're all set. Let's do your payment. Give me your credit card number.
There you go.
Like, didn't talk to the doctor, didn't see the doctor. She's not a nurse, just random, I'm not going to give the names of any of these companies or anything, but holy Jesus, it was,
it's ridiculous
compare
that anybody
to the
thinks
3 visits that I have to do to get a procedure done and all, the bullshit extraneous paperwork and all that. And this is just like, here you go. Then she goes, we'll be sending you some emails. Please fill them out whenever you get it. And she kind of made it sound like it didn't even really matter. So I'm thinking these are just going to be like a survey or something, like, because everybody wants a fucking survey now, no matter what you do. Can't buy a sandwich without them wanting your email address so you can fill out a survey about how the pickle was. But so I go to open it and read it, and it's not a survey. It's my intake form. It's my please list the reasons why. You know what I mean? Like it's important. It's something that most assuredly should have been handled before. The credit card payment process.
It's a joke.
I had already received an email from the state of Florida saying everything's hunky dory before I even got the email from the doctor asking me to fill out whatever it was he wanted me to fill out, which I did dutifully, I might add, because it is legit. And before this guy, I had other weed doctors that took their job far more seriously. It had to go sit down with them and see him in person and, spend 40 minutes or whatever. Like, not like this. This was a very different.
Speaking of having to give your email address, I called some chick about cleaning my apartment today, and she's like, okay, yeah, give me your email address. Will you email you? I don't even think I gave it to her. I was like, you don't understand. I don't. I took that opportunity to tell her, like, look, you're being able to take cash or a check, right? It's not going to be like
a lot
Venmo
of people
or
do
anything.
that just for documentation. They just want.
Apparently,
and I could see how somebody whose job is entering men's homes. I could see maybe you might want some sort of paper trail.
I really was just trying to catch the chick because the chick I talked to, and even the chick that does the cleaning, she apparently runs the business. But I tried to just catch it because it's the chick that cleans next door. So I was like, listen, I just need my kitchen, my bathroom. I'll just pay you cash. But they were insistent I go through the proper channels. I'm like, okay, whatever.
Right, because otherwise it's poaching and moonlighting, and then
whatever. She's next door anyway. Whatever. But speaking of fraud and waste and stuff like that, dude, our F.D.O.T is just a joke. All right, first of all, just today on the way down here, I'm coming down, and you know those flashing billboard things that have the silver alerts or, traffic slowing down in 5 miles, whatever, yada, yada, yada. I'm going by one of them, and it literally says, I don't know if it said your mom or mom says to buckle up. Now, I'm sure you've heard the phrase read the room. Well, at that point, I thought to myself, read the road. Who the fuck is this sign for? Your mom is reading the sign, you dumbass. This is Florida. No, you kids don't drive. You kids use Uber and Lyft and stuff. Your mom is reading the sign. It's so stupid. All right, and then beyond that, I'm going to see if I can share this documents that I have here.
It's also not a sign anybody who's lost their mom wants to read. Thanks for the reminder.
Exactly. Yeah, everybody else is like, yeah, my mom's been dead for years, dumbass. What are you talking about? Anyway, so I remember I mentioned many episodes ago about not getting a bill for tolls for forever, and then I got the bill for $13. I mentioned that. I didn't even look at the how they itemize the bill. I didn't even look at that one. I just paid it through the itemized part away. I didn't even look. I was like, yeah, that sounds about right. I'm not even going to bother. So now I've gotten 2 more bills, and they make absolutely no sense. Absolutely no sense whatsoever. Now, before I show you these bills, it is complicated because I have 2 vehicles. I have a motorcycle and a car, so that's 2 different license plates. They have
a motorcycle and a Jeep.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, correct. Sorry. And we're only dealing with 2 different toll roads, which one is the express lane on 95, and the other is the Sawgrass. All right. I don't think I've ever gotten a bill from the Sawgrass, but I'm paying for it. As you'll see, I'll show you right here. If you read any of this, it makes no sense whatsoever. Basically, this bill says I owe $11 or something like that. But then down at the bottom, it says I owe $4.50. All right, so that's not what I pay. I paid that. I paid the $4, whatever. Okay, this one, I think the bottom total comes to like $16 or something like that. And then the total I owe says $33. It makes no sense. And all these, from both of these invoices, are all from the express lane.
I'm not bougie enough to own several vehicles, so I want to ask, do they put them all together just under your license?
No.
Or do you get separate bills and invoices for each vehicle?
No. The one with with just like 4, that's for the Jeep. The one with the many, that's for the bike. So you do get 2 different, but I haven't gotten either one from Sawgrass. None of them. Obviously, I just paid for Sawgrass since there's $33 that unaccounted for. Clearly 4 and 16 don't equal 33. So somehow I paid for it.
Isn't it? It's like one exit or something on Sawgrass though when you get off of 95.
I don't think it goes by exits. It's just once you get on, you get charged. That's it. No matter how far you go. But yeah, I go like from the beginning to university. It's not very far.
You didn't get a ticket. Didn't pick up one of your little tickets first.
No, yeah,
just charge you for the full length of the turnpike.
Nah, Sawgrass isn't like that. I think Sawgrass, once you go on it, you get charged. You can go to all the way to the end. You can go to one exit. I don't think it matters. And it's not much. I don't think it's very much. But yeah, it's just so ridiculous. I'm looking at these bills trying to figure it out. I'm like, what the hell's going on here? It's so ridiculous. Anyway, enough of the Florida Department of Transportation ridiculousness. All right, so we started watching a video last episode that I wanted to finish because it's just so hilarious. So I believe this is right where we left off from last episode. And if anybody didn't watch last episode, this is basically a VH1 TV show that somehow slipped under my radar that is just hilarious, where they put all these rock stars together and give them a couple weeks to read.
We talked about this pretty extensively, actually.
We did, but there's many, many, many laughs yet to have in this video. Watch.
Anushka to join the adult film business that he co-owned with his then-wife, Tara Patrick.
Woman somewhere inside fantasizes about being a pinup or a centerfold. I think I can make her famous. I can make her into a star.
Then later on in the same episode, Jason Bonham had to leave for prior
There's a
commitments
pretty
to play
big
2
difference
shows.
between being a pinup girl and doing porn.
Yeah, very, very little. But I think the guy did. I don't know. I've never heard of that guy before this, so I have no idea. But anyway,
The band Foreigner.
This is
Now,
what
for
they
a
do
normal
about
band,
this is hilarious.
A scheduling hiccup, but for a reality TV show needing constant content, it was a crisis. Management's solution was a stroke of reality TV absurdity. They brought in a human beatboxer named Kid Beyond to replace Jason Bonham.
That's right. You heard him right.
Yeah. It's funny. It's from the clip that just a second ago when they were showing the guy beatboxing. At first, I was like, "Is that the guy from Anthrax beatboxing?" Because all I saw was the bald head. I'm like, "There's no way that guy does that."
It's a different guy, as we'll see. Here you go.
And the band, as you can imagine, was appalled. This is where the clash between musical integrity and producer-driven drama became
Whose
perfectly
idea was it to
encapsulated.
bring that guy in the first place?
The people in the show.
Tell him to go home.
It may be interesting for 2 minutes to at least listen to.
No, I don't
So yeah, it's just the producers in the background stirring the shit
Yes,
spoon. That's all,
absolutely,
trying to instigate
absolutely.
everything possibly, like they do on all reality
Of
shows,
course,
which is why it's not reality.
and it's working.
Jason's gonna come in and say, "What the?" Jason's the drummer.
With responsibilities today.
At what point does Ted pull out a bow and just
Did
start
anybody
shooting
ask
at the guy?
Jason about that? I'll tell you one thing. You get
pin him
another
to
lead
the
singer
wall.
in here while I'm at running or something, I'll punch his head in. Okay, so don't get any ideas about that. This is my band.
What does Sebastian Bach weigh? A $105 soaking wet? You think
No,
anybody's worried
dude.
about him?
No, Sebastian Bach's like 6'4", dude. He's
Yeah, but he's
solid.
skinny as a rail.
No, he's not. He's not one of those skinny dudes. He's got some meat on the bones. I wouldn't fuck with Sebastian Bach. He's a big fat motherfucker. He would punch somebody in the face. Even if he was a skinny guy, he would do it. But he ain't that skinny. Trust me. He's pretty big.
Okay,
Need that.
say so.
We don't need
I'll
that.
bring you in there and you can torture him like you've tortured everybody else.
And just because I don't use a drum kit doesn't mean I can't rock as hard as any member of the Bonham family.
Yes, it does.
Shut the door. It sucks.
Sebastian Bach took the most direct action, literally slamming the door in the beatboxer's face. Now, with Jason Bonham finally returning, the focus shifted to songwriting, which brought the next major conflict. The band had been working on a song called Take It Back. They brought it to veteran producer Rob Cavallo, known for his work with Green Day, to offer a professional opinion. Cavallo listened and then delivered a pretty brutal assessment. He said the song sounded dated.
You think?
Yeah,
There's
this show
no-
is looking pretty dated.
There's no person of color in there. There's nobody from country. So all the genres that are represented today are not in that room. There's no possible way you're going to get a bunch of guys from the 90s, 80s, and as far back as the 70s and not get something dated. I mean, what the, but here, even better than that, watch their reaction to being called dated.
Trouble because the song is so dated. The song is so dated. Dated. The song is so dated.
It's just starting to
I
crack.
still think that the most obnoxious and repugnant and inapplicable word in the history of rock and roll is
Here it comes.
It's just, this is literally like reflects today's politics so much. Like if it hadn't been used against them, then well, yeah, dated press, yeah, that's a common term. Of course, we all know what that means. Now that it was used against them, oh, it's repugnant. Here we go. Hold on.
dated.
The problem is it's not really relevant to today. It feels like something from the 80s.
You think?
It feels like something from the 80s. And when kids hear that kind of stuff, I don't think they're going to get it. I don't get it.
There is no higher authority ever than me on what is right or wrong about my music.
The other kind of beat that I was thinking of, or something that would be interesting, would be something that has a little more of a punk flavor.
Bonham doesn't play punk. I don't feel.
I ate a punk one.
Punk is dated too.
Punk music is what I would like to bring to the flavor.
It'd probably be easier if I just got on a drum kit and showed you. But at the same time,
Oh. Now, I should mention that I guess we either missed that part or it was before, but this producer, I guess, is big because he produced Green Day. So that's the thing. He's like a punk dude. So he's like, yeah, maybe, maybe. And he's right, though. Even punk is dated. It's still white guys. Yeah.
Now, enlighten me as far as Jason Bonham, aside from parentage, and not so sure that drumming is hereditary. What bands was he in before,
that's a good question.
Is he a good drummer?
He is a good drummer. He's quite good. Was he in the?
His father was a hell of a drummer,
was
but
he
that
in the
doesn't always
Firm?
mean the same thing.
I mean, he might have been in the Firm, but I'm not sure about that. But I don't think he was in any giant successful rock bands. He's been in a lot of minor hit bands, I think. I don't know. That's a good question. And of course, anytime if what's left of Zeppelin wants to go out and play, if they bring him along, it's more of a, But anyway, all right, here we go.
But while the feedback stung, it was a necessary dose of reality, forcing the band to confront that the
look, he's
combined
not that
histories
skinny.
didn't automatically.
Yeah. All right, I take it back.
Soon, the creative tension was dwarfed by personal friction. Egos began to flare. An example that's repeated throughout the series is Bach, who would keep his bandmates waiting while he would go exercise and go for jogs, much to the annoyance of his bandmates.
Coming up, 11 days till showtime and a rebellious supergroup blows off their first band meeting.
You're a half hour late for a band meeting.
I had to go running, dude.
That usually constitutes a band meeting when the band's there.
Obviously, it's better to be on time and keep to a schedule, but it is rock and roll.
Other
You're watching
dramas
the
soon
Slack
introduced-
Doctors.
That's pretty good. But listen, these guys have never dealt with what do they call the egotistical? What the fucking word for the opera stars again? Diva.
Narcissist.
No, diva. They're divas. You've never
lean in closer to the mic.
Yeah, you've never experienced a diva before. Come on, what kind of rock and roll stars are you? What's going on here?
To the house when manager Doc McGee brings over the group's PR people who had previously worked with boy bands, and they come and try to help shape the band's image, much to the annoyance of the members. Then Doc McGee brings in a stylist who the band members, of course, clash with.
People are doing here yet.
PR people are consumed with imagery, and I always think that Ted Nugent needs an imagery.
I got to grow a goatee like
dairy
that.
farmer needs
Just a little
milkman.
stripe, little mohawk stripe right in the dead center of my chin. I could do it. I'd probably do it in 2 days.
Yeah.
And he's here talking about people in image. He's got that thing on his face. Here we go.
Maybe they can advise me of things I should say.
Hey, man.
How you doing?
You guys did
Hey,
the
man.
Backstreet Boys, right? I'm a Box Street boy.
Share your wisdom with us. How do we penetrate that ever suspicious media?
What's your pitch?
We're gonna talk
How
to
you
you. You're
spinning
gonna-
this thing?
we're gonna
That's
ask
just
you.
buzzwords, right? How you spinning this thing? We're gonna vertically integrate it and move forward. We're gonna monetize this thing and streamline it. What's happening here, guys?
They jumped screaming at us. I just sat there going, wow, I've never been in a situation as a publicist where they have felt like I was there to harm them.
We've never talked to marketing speak. We specialize in bringing entertainment stories to the media.
You want people?
Oh God! Today was the worst ADD session of everybody talking over everybody.
Is he wearing a dog collar?
Each other
What's that? He probably
wearing
was.
a dog collar?
Probably.
off when we talk. Every one of us. No, all of us. Not every one of us.
Well, we haven't had a chance to
right
talk
now,
yet.
None of us can get our thought out. Let's hear everybody. And then
Our capabilities.
I'm not nothing.
We have the largest men's magazine in the country, Maxim.
Right on.
Is shooting you guys. If you need something in Las Vegas.
Remember magazines? Talk about dated.
Right? Maxim.
Yeah.
Remember
Fuck
that
reads
one?
magazines anymore.
Right? Maxim magazine. I used to read that one. Oh, speaking of which, but this is nothing to do with what we're talking about, but I just watched a thing about Ty from the We're Not Going to Mars put out this thing about, it's really wild. He put out a cartoon that was out of that magazine Heavy Metal, like way back in the 90s, that literally has Trump doing exactly what he's doing. It's really wild. Anyway, but that's on X, and we'll talk about that later. But this is still pretty funny.
Yeah, let's get to work.
Okay. So here's what I'm thinking. I've got some visuals. I want to do sort of a neo-futuristic.
I don't think that's gonna.
I know what I'm wearing. I have my own image in my
You know what you're
style.
wearing already?
I know what I'm wearing already.
You have an outfit already.
Yeah, I know
Yes,
what I'm wearing.
You're gonna try and reinvent these guys' look. Good luck. Could you imagine?
If we're gonna wear uniforms, we should all wear something different, man.
Could you imagine these guys coming out on stage looking like the Backstreet Boys or something like that? It'd be fucking hilarious.
Like a bunch of waiters, man.
Well, I'm glad to see you are open-minded. I thought the guys were a little insensitive to her because she was trying her best, and I thought that they could have been a little more hospitable.
And I liked her.
He wanted to bang her.
Yeah, exactly.
Fair. Let's hear my ideas out, and then we'll talk. Fair enough?
Yes.
Fair enough?
Yes.
Okay, great.
I don't need a fashion consultant, and in fact I do for humor, so I can laugh them out of the damn room.
So I want to do this thing that's
Look,
kind of
give the nudes one
you
thing.
guys
He has
are
been consistent with
futuristic.
his fashion. He's been rocking the same look for a very long time.
Exactly. You're not going to get him to wear anything else. It's insane. None of these guys, they've all had the same look from day one.
How many hats he
Rock stars. So like the rock stars from the future came back. Don't groan, Evan. What if the ultimate rock band came down and, from this other world? What would they look like and sound like and do?
It would do things like that.
Think like Van Helsing. Something like lots of grounded in rock, deconstructive, slightly almost like homeless urchin.
What was that cartoon that was on like Robot Chicken or something like that with those four guys that were like the heavy metal dudes?
Metalocalypse, something like that. I can't think of the name. I can't pronounce it properly, but yeah, it was.
I think that's it.
Like,
Metalocalypse or something like that. Yeah,
yeah.
I think that's what Ted Nugent
rock musicians, but they were also like superheroes.
Right. But the only thing they ever wore was like cut off T-shirts or whatever. Is that's trying to make these guys do that. It's the same thing.
This is the perfect pair for your
goddamn
iPhone.
Edit out these stupid commercials.
3 different chargers. This is the Ridge magnetic.
However, the most serious threat to the project was Sebastian Bach's behavior. It was prior to filming the show. Bach had done a stint on Broadway performing as part of Jesus Christ Super.
All right, now this I didn't know. I would pay to see that. What's that?
Did he playing JC or was he playing Judas?
Yeah, he looks like he's the lead guy playing, Jesus Christ. And then,
title role, yeah, I'm reading it down there. Yeah, title role. Yeah.
And then when you know this, what they're about to say makes it even more hilarious. Here we go.
Superstar, and he'd soon fallen into the habit of drinking wine every night. Now, Bach's behavior grew more erratic, culminating in a dramatic confrontation. During a discussion, Bach and Bonham clashed over whether the drummer should make eye contact with the frontman. And later that evening, Bach's behavior became what other members described.
All right, wait a minute. Right there.
What?
Why? Was he arguing for or against making eye contact with the drummer? Because I can tell you right now, if you're off beat, you're going to want to make eye contact with the drummer or at least look at his hands. And the amount of what they talk about and rules of they make up is just ridiculous. But here,
described as out of control. This is where Evan Seinfeld finally snapped. Furious, he pushed Bach and attempted to throw a punch. The message was clear. Bach's drinking was jeopardizing the band.
I turned around to Jason and I said, this is going to get serious in about 10 seconds.
This is called riding. In the aftermath, a tearful.
Okay, the eventual and always entertaining fist fight. I've seen a couple of fist fights in bands. I've never been in one. I've been close, but I think the ultimate fight, band-related fight, was our mutual friend Davey D once was doing a gig with the Mighty Quinn on, I think it was St. Paddy's Day, and they were playing outside in Lake Worth, and for whatever reason, they used to have this singer named Mike. Yeah, I think it was Mike Lenarchek or something like that, and this guy was just he was a handful. Let's just put it that way. He was kind of like Sebastian a little bit. He was liked his drink, got a little handsy with girls all the time. We used to get in trouble for that a lot. But anyway, this particular day, apparently, I run into the guy. I come down to Lake Worth afterwards after they're done playing. I run into this guy Mike, and he lifts up his shirt and he goes, "Look at this," and it looks like somebody stabbed him. I thought somebody had stabbed him with a knife or something like that. I go, "What the hell happened to you?" He goes, "Davey D hit me with a mic stand." Apparently, Davey D launched a mic stand across the stage at him.
Wow.
But anyways,
so he didn't swing it at him. He threw it at him like a damn javelin.
Like a spear.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, that's about the best band fight story I've got.
Hey, dude. Sorry, man.
And of course
revealed the painful loss that fueled Sebastian's drinking.
Morning, your dad lost drinking, numbs it out for a minute, and then it's just worse tomorrow.
Leading to an ultimatum.
You can't drink, dude. All right.
But just a few hours after he swore off liquor, the promise was broken.
Eat, drink, and be fat and drunk.
If he's drinking before the show, I ain't playing with him.
And this is something Bach confirmed in his book. But he also stated that he grew uncomfortable with what he claimed was Ted Nugent telling everyone on set that he was black and using the N-word freely around crew members. What happened next was perhaps the most unexpected twist in the entire series. Seinfeld approached the one person he might thought get through to Bach, Ted Nugent. He explained that Bach looked up to Ted like a father figure, and in a moment of surprising responsibility, the Motor City Madman took on the role of mentor. He confronted Bach directly and forbade him from drinking any more alcohol.
Look, there's one thing Nugent's known for is he is staunchly against drugs and alcohol.
That's true.
Very outspoken
That's true.
about it forever.
You know what else is kind of wild about this? When you think about it, if he played Jesus Christ, let's go down the rabbit hole that like Jesus Christ didn't die on the cross, and like the Masons or the Stone Temple or whoever says and went up into France and then ended up in Scotland. What if he also turned into a wino? who would have been his
in remembrance of me? I mean,
who would have been his Ted Nugent to talk him down from the? Anyway, here we go.
Agreed. And in a bizarre turn of events, the hard-partying frontman had unofficially been adopted by the straight-edge bow-hunting Ted Nugent.
I love you, okay? But I love you with a crowbar, which is why I want to talk to you. You are so gifted. You got it all. I want Sebastian Bach, not kinda, and not almost. No more drinking. Not even a sip. It reduces.
No.
You let's put it this way. Does it enhance the fun factor? Only for a burp, and then it turns into dumb guy. And I mean, you remember you went off and got thrown in jail because drinking. Yeah. Okay.
All right. So this is really a wasted episode. This could have been the best episode of Intervention ever.
Right, and let's be honest. I mean, yeah, drinking is destructive, but these are world-class rock stars we're talking about. Where's the heroin? Where's the speedballs? Where's the meth? Where's the, these guys are drinking wine at that? Not even a bottle of Jack.
The structure motorized pergola system.
Even Janis Joplin drank hard liquor.
Homeowners experience the outdoors.
In June of 2006, as the show was airing, Democracy released 3 demo tracks on their MySpace page, a relic of the era itself.
MySpace.
Bach himself would later admit the demos were of extremely low quality and that if they recorded them properly, they would have likely sounded completely different. The entire experiment culminated with a one-night-only concert at the Empire Ballroom in Las Vegas. This was the grand finale. They took to the stage and ripped through a set list that included their new songs, alongside cover tunes from their own catalog, like Skid Row's Youth Gone Wild, Anthrax's Only, and Ted Nugent's Cat Scratch Fever. For one night, that bickering finally stopped. They were loud, messy, and unapologetically a rock and roll band. At the end of the show, Scott Ian expressed a desire to continue, stating that he didn't want it to end. But the show concluded with an on-screen text assuring viewers that the band was continuing to work together, leaving a glimmer of hope that this chaotic experiment might actually have a future. But that hope was short-lived. After the camera stopped rolling, the deafening sound that followed Democracy was silence. There was no album, there was no tour. All 5 members immediately returned to their day jobs. Bach went back to his solo career, Ian went back to Anthrax, Bonham went back to Foreigner, and Seinfeld went back to Biohazard, while Ted Nugent split his time between touring and hunting. The band that was forged in the crucible of reality TV seemed to evaporate the moment the spotlight was turned off. For 4 years, the name existed in a state of limbo, but finally in 2010, the band officially split up, though it was merely a formality. They hadn't produced any new material or played a single show since that one night in Vegas.
And they never should have.
In the years that followed...
Well, no, they
never should have.
I think they tried to bring it back.
Was the only thing that should have ever even been an attempt, and even that was ill-conceived.
But wait, I think they tried to bring it back. Hold on.
The public finger-pointing began. Sebastian Bach claimed that the band didn't continue because Ted Nugent wasn't interested, quipping that he...
Perfect. All right, so that's the excuse. No Ted Nugent. Well, guess what? Get Trent Reznor. Get the guy from The Weeknd. Get somebody that won't make it so goddamn dated and try again. You actually might.
Right. Or better yet, get a whole new pack of dudes. Or better yet, just don't do it.
I don't know how this show didn't succeed. I don't think there's much more left worth watching on this episode, but it was hilarious. I remember watching that. I was like dying laughing. All right.
That was a poorly conceived project, and it was executed just as badly, I would say.
I don't know. I don't know how that. I don't know. First of all, I don't know how that show slipped under my radar. I don't know how to. I just recently never heard of that. I think that would have been a great show. That's almost as good as the show that my buddy Davey D came up with, which is basically a ripoff on what is it? What's the bar rescue? And his idea is band rescue, which is not a bad idea. I think it'd be pretty hilarious. Right. But anyway. All right, you got any clips to show?
I got a couple of clips. You want to do that? I think we only have one. I think you only left one message. You want to do that first?
Oh, yeah. I forgot about the message. Yeah. Go ahead and do that first.
All right. We'll do the call first.
So I just heard this chick on Bill Maher. I guess she's a liberal or whatever. But she was complaining about the fact that they were jumping all over her because she's not in on the trans thing. But the way she put it, it's because she says girls shouldn't be cutting their breasts off. With all the trans issues, cutting their breasts off is literally the least thing I would be worried about. First of all these chicks are going to get fake breasts anyway, so it doesn't matter. They can put them back in later.
All right. I'm going to have to pause because I'm hoping you were just being sarcastic or facetious, because there's a big difference between getting augmentation later and getting your complete mammaries taken out before you ever have a chance to breed or potentially need to nurse a child or
play the rest of it. Play the rest of it first.
Okay.
It's not like there are any girls walking around that don't have fake tits. So yeah, the breasts can go, they can come, they can go, they can come. It really doesn't fucking matter anymore today. Come on, let's be serious. Compared to the puberty altering drugs or the surgeries, the bottom surgeries they're doing, where they're no longer going to be able to have any kids, not even to mention not to be even able to have any kind of orgasm ever in life. So yeah, this is the last thing I'd be worried about later.
Yeah, hopefully I'm conveying
yourself.
The point being that that's the worst. If you're worried about trans kids, the least thing I would worry about all that other stuff first. Then they're cutting their tits off. Yeah, that was kind of silly.
Yeah, it's a very permanent solution to what is more often than not a temporary condition. People, little kids want to be all kinds of things, have active imaginations. You don't let them get tattoos. You don't let them, sign contracts. There's all kinds of things you can't do when your mind hasn't fully developed. And I would say that permanently altering your biology is probably on that list. Should be anyway.
Okay, now going back to the tit talk, because I don't think I did know the distinction of. You're saying that there's one kind of surgery where they remove everything, but that's the same thing they do if you get breast cancer, right?
Yes, but that's not done cosmetically.
It's done preemptively, apparently.
Yeah, but it's for a life-saving,
well,
to reduce the risk.
Potentially life. They're having them, removed just in case, right? Some
people, yeah.
Yeah, which is insane, but yeah. All right. So let's get to the clips then.
All right. So I got 2 clips back to back for you, and I got to say,
I think I know
if
which ones they are.
You wanted my true raw reaction, you shouldn't have sent it to me. You should have just played it and made me see it on the air.
I know.
But you did at least warn me with a vague, I think the subject of the email was, you're not going to like this.
Yeah, you should explain why you're not going to like it too.
All right. So one of the many surgeries I had was years ago. I had a surgery on my neck where all of my vertebrae, my cervical vertebrae, the backs of them were taken off. So they're not circular anymore. They're like letter C's. So I've been terrified for all these years, rightfully so, of any kind of neck injury, whiplash.
Like literally, when you're around me and I crack my neck, you're like, oh, you kind of freak out.
Yeah, I wince. The thought of cracking, it's just insane. And you sent me this.
I told you you're not going to like it.
I screamed, "You dirty motherfucker!" when I opened it. I was so mad.
And it's our favorite guy.
Oh my Lord Christ, Jesus!
I like
even on second viewing.
How How does he do the thing with the jaw? That's what I don't know.
Look at the diabolical look in his eyes.
Can you start?
Oh, God, that's
Wait for the jaw thing. The jaw thing is even wilder.
No, I'm not watching it again, man. We're good.
And then you got the other one I sent you in conjunction.
Yeah,
I
that
guess,
was
right?
insane. So then the next one was thankfully titled something like, you're not gonna like this, or more crazy neck stuff. Yeah. Now this is more a situation of just not having a neck.
How is that not bad for his neck? But that looks like it was pretty painful
that didn't
for his
freak
neck.
me out the way the first one did. That was just horrific.
Yeah, that's just wacko. And in the kid's defense, when you're stuck in a wheelchair, why not hop it up? What else you get to do? Why not make it a death-defying ride since you're not allowed on the other ones?
It almost looked like a mannequin
Fair enough.
or something.
Right?
That was a real person?
I think so.
Wow.
I don't know.
I don't know.
All right, let's see what I got. I got one.
All
here.
right,
Hold on.
this is another pretty funny one that you sent me. And you're right. Like this really could. I don't know if Tim Dillon played ball when he was young or not.
Oh yeah, this is a good one.
but this guy really does look like him. And what's funny too is as watch on the way back after he makes the shot, one of his teammates like jumps toward him to celebrate and literally bounces off of him like he's a steel girder.
Oh yeah.
A little bit of kiss. Nails it. And then wait for it. Bam! Oh my God! Complete hip check. That guy goes, oh! You see the pain in his eyes.
And not only that, if you notice, the kid that gave him the between the legs pass must be that guy's twin. God, does everybody on that team look the same with the little Jufro and the? But yeah,
the broccoli head. Yeah, they look like kind of like an alpaca. They all have the same haircut. My cousin lives in Connecticut. She's got 4 kids, 3 of them are boys, and they all have the same. They all have that haircut.
Let's see what this. Oh, this is a good one. This is more endorsement for our school. Let's see what this chick's got to say.
So yesterday I came to the realization my students can't read. That is the tragic truth. That's not good. Sorry. That is a tragic truth. And
she couldn't look more interested in telling us.
I struggle
Wait till the end, though. It's
with
funny.
being told that I have to focus on certain standards on grade level text when my kids are not reading grade level. And I just don't really know how to navigate that. Like, I see they're struggling.
Look,
Let me give you.
Kids might not be able to read, but can you imagine having to deal with her as a teacher all day? That would drive me insane.
Well, here's a little hint on maybe something you could probably think about doing about this problem. Teach them to fucking read. You're a fucking teacher. Teach them to read. That's not once does she ever even consider this. Here, let's.
They're not going to read because they don't understand what they're reading. You're going to give them a test with a text on it that they don't understand. So they're not going to attempt it because then that makes them feel.
Here's a place to start. A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
Well, it would help to know what grade she's teaching. Like, is she complaining that they're coming into her class so far behind that they can't do her curriculum?
Let's keep going and see if you can see
a legitimate.
Let's see what it says on the board. Maybe that'll give us
a specific type of way.
It's backwards, isn't it?
They don't want to struggle. And I get that. I do.
I get that.
But at the same time, they're not
reading. The key around her
They're not
neck on
going
the
to get
lanyard
better
makes her look like a PE coach. But
So
true.
It's like a catch-22.
No, it's not a catch-22. All you have to do to get out of the loop of the catch, teach them to fucking read. Why does this? It seems like it's really just easier than they're making it out to be.
What grade is she teaching?
I don't know.
Do I push them and try to get them to understand grade level text?
Nah.
Why? Why bother?
Or do I come kind of down to their level?
I think you should
and
spend
try
more
to
time
show
on your
them
nails.
I think you
if you
are
impress
at
them
their
more
level.
with a little more nail work and get a slightly bigger cup, you will inspire them and they'll start reading on their own.
I don't know. It's a really difficult decision.
How much bullshit do you have on your desk?
Is this real?
I don't know. I don't know.
That's a good question. This
at the
could
end
be
of the day,
entirely. This could be
they don't
rage
understand
baiting
the grade level
AI
text.
material, and we're
Let's
just
hope
being
so.
old and stupid.
God, let's
It
hope
is
so.
funny. It is funny.
Because, yeah, I mean, it's just like, not at one point does she go, hey, maybe we should teach these kids how to read. It's just like, that might be a good place to start. I'm not sure.
All right, so this one was sent to me with the subject of something, and you thought my joystick. Are you impressed by my joystick? This guy, this is the most ridiculous gaming setup I've ever seen.
Yep.
And I can't imagine having to share a place, or worse yet, be downstairs from a guy like this.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. The neighbors.
Yeah, just unbelievable.
My Quest 3 headset for wireless VR gaming, a Bubble VR head strap battery pack, has a fan that pulls my head down, my Vibe tracker so that I can use my UDCAP VR controller gloves with the Quest 3.
Already so much jargon has been said, so many initials and letters and numbers. I'm already completely lost. And did you catch, and he's going to show it again later, the fact that with all this VR stuff, he's swinging a real fucking sword. Yeah. Why wouldn't you use a piece of fucking rattan or something?
You're
going to kill the
lightsaber.
dog. Someone's going to come into the room, and you're going to turn around to get the enemy behind you, and the next thing you know, you're going to be on the news.
My touch and trackers on my gloves for spatial tracking. My UDCAP VR controller gloves that lets me play VR games with my hands. And so that I can eventually use things like a sword with my controllers.
That's
my
a genius
B-Haptics
idea.
vest and wrist straps has 40 motors in this vest right here. I can feel
This
gunshots.
is the part that's wild.
If you're going to have motors, why don't you just go full 9 yards and put squibs in there like they do in Hollywood? I want to see every
It's
time
close,
you get
man.
hit, I want to see a pop and a gout of
I
blood.
think it's close what he's got.
I can feel explosions, all that crazy shit. My haptic shirt by OO Suit is intense
haptic shirt. Never thought I'd hear those words put together.
suit where I can feel my muscles contract in real time,
No
so I can
nips at
feel
all.
being stabbed.
Completely
My
inverted
exoskeleton
nipple.
that assists my legs with running on this treadmill. I'm literally not doing this right now.
He
I'm not
doesn't even
doing
run.
This. It's literally before me. Last but not least, my personal
No way this can
omnidirectional
go
treadmill
wrong.
that helps me move and force
There's no way that anyone's ever going to get hurt. How does he not even have holes in his walls?
The Handy 2
swimming
Pro
part is right.
Wow.
All right, that's
Here's
insane.
Here's the part that's pretty crazy, that if you saw that guy out in the wild and he didn't say anything, you would never know what a freaking nerd he was.
No, you would not.
I mean, maybe if he started talking some of that technical talk, you'd be, oh, okay, you're a nerd. But otherwise, no, he looks pretty solid. Now, this is when I was surprised the delicacy part of this wasn't the little mouthy part that comes
今
out.
天我教大家做一道我们湖南有名的湘菜——辣椒炒异形肉。异形要选择我们长沙宁乡煤炭坝养殖的有机成熟体。这是我们在损失了几十位。
for my computer.
What's
this
that?
Is shit like this. This is why the price of RAM cards is. This is why I can't buy more memory for my computer, because people are wasting their time doing this dumb shit.
And this also just goes to prove the Japanese will eat anything.
村民以后好不容易培育成功的最新长沙土特产。 首先要把表面清洗刷干净，这样一会儿吃起来才更干净卫生。因为皮也是可以吃的，比较酥脆。
What are they scrubbing the poison off of it?
Yeah. I like how the poison quit dripping off its teeth when it was getting the rubbings. It's so good.
Right.
首先我们要进行切块，在切的过程中一定要小心它的具有强烈带腐蚀性的血液。大家可以看看这个肉多滑嫩，作为长沙的土特产，肉质的优质蛋白质含量是牛肉的20倍，是鸡肉的50倍。
Let's go to the end
现
here
特
to
色
see
菜
what
就这么做好啦。哦，搞出来了！不得不说，这道长沙特色菜做的
Is she
太
eating the
成功了。
Is that the head?
There is no sheet. I don't know what. I mean, it's a coiled rope of something.
All right, that's
I
enough of
hate
that
AI.
grotesque stuff.
I fucking hate AI.
Well, that's clearly AI.
No.
Yeah, right. All right,
I
you
think
got
that
one?
might have been a xenomorph. I got one that you sent me. What's funny is that I've already, I had already watched this on my own. This is actually a YouTuber that I follow, and I think we've featured him on here before. It's Rick Beato.
Oh yeah. This is the long one too, though. But this is a good one.
Yeah, we won't do the whole thing, but we'll just get the gist of it.
So this is just some observations that I've been making over the past couple of weeks about where the music business is now and kind of where it was in 1994 when I moved to Atlanta when I was 32 years old. So the reason I moved down here was to try and find people to play with in a band and do my own music. There were music rehearsal spaces around town here that bands rehearsed at. There's probably about 4 or 5 of them. One of them was called Black Box. It had about 50 rooms or so. There's another one called Avatar that had a bunch of rooms, maybe about the same, with a couple of huge rooms that you could rehearse on a stage. There was another place called Metro that was near the Masquerade, which is actually in a different spot now, that my band rehearsed in, that probably had 35 different rehearsal spaces in. And there were a number of others. These were all full of bands that rehearsed all the time. So day and night, you can go in there. They're open 24 hours. You can go in and rehearse. This wasn't just Atlanta. This was every city. If you went to Seattle like I did in 1992, there was a number of rehearsal spaces around Seattle that all those Seattle bands rehearsed in. But there were...
He just recently, I think yesterday or today, I watched another one of his where he's talking about how, almost all of these indie musicians and everything are all basically industry plants and propped up by rich parents or people with connections in the business. And again, and also the point that you've made about how many of all these artists, there's a bunch of people that write all of the songs for everybody. And that's why everything kind of sounds the same, because it's all the same people writing the songs for everybody else.
Well, it's a secular thing that we'll talk about after he's done.
Yeah. I feel like this one, was this the one where he was drawing the parallel between all the studio equipment and the AI centers? I feel like that might have been this.
Possibly, but that's, that's a greater discussion about, like, I was thinking of, if we were going to open a podcast studio to also have, like a rehearsal studio kind of situation. But I mean, there's a couple of them around, and there's just, I don't know if there's the demand for it, to tell you the truth. I mean, you can even rehearse. I don't know how they do it with the latency and all, but I've seen it done. But people can rehearse by Zoom now. You don't need it go get together and buy.
That's the point he's going to go on to make here very soon, is about the price and the storage and whatnot of home computing systems has come down to the point where you just don't need.
And plus, there's different things. Like, what are you doing in this rehearsal room? Because here's the thing: if you're playing in a cover band, if you're getting in a rehearsal room, all you're doing is running through the songs that you already learned at home. If you're going into your rehearsal place to learn songs, you're wasting your time and money. But people do that for sure. But I mean, back in the day when we had a rehearsal place, it was to go there and write and like come up with ideas and be creative. When you're working on original stuff. So there's different kind of rehearsal rooms. As a matter of fact, our mutual friend Opie, he had an idea, and this is way back. I mean, this is probably 10, 15 years ago. But he had an idea to do a music studio by just going somewhere like the Carolinas or something like that and buying an old mansion out in the middle of nowhere and turning that into a recording studio just for, like, obviously people that can afford it, big money, producer type people. But that's the perfect place to go because you're isolated. You don't let anybody take their phones or laptops or any of that stuff, and you stick them out in the woods and, a bunch of guys that go, all right, kind of like that TV show, but without all the external shit, and just be here and be creative. And that's the only reason you're here. Get stoned, get drunk, be creative. That's the whole reason you're here. But, that never works out. But are you going to play the rest of this or?
Well, we don't really need to. I
was going to say,
pretty much.
The thing, the point he makes later in the video is that you're right. It's only rich kids that are making music now, and to a lesser extent in the past. And truthfully, it doesn't matter though. It kind of does. Actually, what's his name? Anthony Oliver kind of proves to a certain extent, even if you write a great song, you still need people with money to be behind you, or it doesn't go anywhere. So, I mean, I used to think that if you wrote a great enough song, no matter what, you would be successful and rich. And I don't think I've changed my mind. I don't think that's not exactly the case. There could be
even these professional songwriters who do, the group of them that writes the majority of music for young pop artists and stuff, even when they write a song that they can sell to one of these artists or gets picked by them, they always have to give them writing rights as well, like put them on the song as a writer, even if they did absolutely nothing to the song or maybe they changed one word and said, I would have said this instead of that. And then they get, credit as one of the writers of the. So even the guys that are selling the most popular songs are not getting the sole credit for writing the song because no one will agree to perform it without getting a little bit of credit on that writing as well.
Right. But I think the greater point he makes here, and I don't even know if he's trying to make it, but music has always been like a cyclical thing. It's like some kind of genre pops up and then it kind of fades and then another genre pops up. But also the same thing with the business. Like, for instance, before the 60s, look at like the 50s, the 40s, the 30s, there were no bands. There were no like pop stars. I mean, I guess Dean Martin, the Rat Pack kind of thing, but all that stuff.
Benny Goodman, people that conducted orchestras and stuff.
But all that stuff is manufactured music. That's music by committee, and there's some kind of organization that's behind it all, funding it and making it, paying the studio guys to show up, and paying the writers to write the song. It wasn't until the 60s till you kind of got the Beatles and Jimi Hendrix and stuff like that was more like a band, that was the band was the thing.
Wealthy individuals or wealthy parties or whatever being involved, that's eternal. That goes back to think of hatred all the way back to the Medicis and stuff in Italy. But that wasn't just for musicians, but for pretty much all artists, sculptors and painters and everybody else. Somebody has to pay for all of this, so you suck up to a rich guy.
Exactly. And for whatever reason, from the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, up into the 20-aughts, almost to 2010, 2011, it was the ruling of bands and artists. Now it's kind of getting back into the whole, it's more of a machine that's making the music, not less of an individual or a guy or a band or a duo, or there's, no Simon and Garfunkel anymore. Now it's,
poor Garfunkel.
Yeah, right. But anyway, well, I think we've been about an hour now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was going to say
we're close. Yeah, we're close.
I was about out of clips, so that's usually about that time. So, if you want to comment on anything we were talking about today, 904-549-9024, give us a call, leave us a message. And I thought Nurse Becca was maybe going to stop by today, but I need to tell her. I was like, look, even if you can't come by, just give us a call, and keep
I didn't want to jinx by asking.
Keep us abreast of what's going on. Well, I've got her money. She paid for our Dave Smith tickets, so I keep trying to tempt her over here. I got your cash. Come on by to the studio 2:00 today. I got the cash.
Don't forget, Dean, you're going too.
Yeah, that's going to be a great time.
Yeah, it'll be a lot of fun. And we'll have to get Becca to make some kind of scene or show her tits or something to get their attention. So we try
Don't
to lure them
forget,
on
next
the show.
week we're gonna tape Monday and Wednesday instead of Monday and Friday.
Right. Yeah.
All right, guys. We'll catch you next time, I guess.
Thanks, guys.